Hi there, greetings and salutations. My name is Jake Query. That is Derek Schultz. And this is the Query and Schultz program on ISC Sports Network, proudly presented by, at least we are proud to have them presenting it, Bailey & Wood. Derek, BAWFG.com is their website, correct?
Correct.
For the very best in terms of getting you into a new home, the best mortgage rates possible, keeping your money right here in central Indiana. And for that matter, we'd like to thank as well IUPUI. How about the Horizon League, where March starts here? Yes, it's mid-February, but March starts here. More on that coming up in the program. Love Heating and Air, Chateau Kitchens, Hoagies and Hops. We have a lot of sponsors that we are happy to have on
Chili
board.
Water Brewing.
Chili Water Brewing
Throw
as
them
well.
in as well, yep.
Very happy to have them on board. Derek, you're a man of few words today.
I'm thrilled to be back. My heart is full. Speaking of full, we have a lot to talk about. Yeah, I was gone last week. We actually set a viewership record, at least on the YouTube platform, for last week's episode with Rake filling in, and I'm not sure what that says about the importance of me on this show.
That's why I forgot you were gone.
Yeah.
Because Greg and I like peanut butter and jelly, right?
Here's what I did. I think I gamed the algorithm unintentionally because I was trying to predict every single week. I build the show on like Thursday, and I try to predict what we're going to talk about, but I don't always know, right? So sometimes I change the title around. But last week I had in the preview title, Guys Talk Super Bowl, Taylor Swift.
Oh,
right in the title.
Yeah,
so I think when people
can we get Taylor Swift in the graphic, please? Can we just put up a picture of Taylor Swift?
I think
music from
when
Taylor
people
Swift?
search Taylor Swift, our show came up, and you can imagine how PO'd somebody would be searching, typing in Taylor Swift. They want to see a Taylor Swift video, and it's you and Rakestraw eating Sandos. Probably pretty upset about that, but we'll take it.
Kelsey kissing her,
but
right?
we'll take it. We'll take the
not
the views,
not Tay-Tay. We need Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
It's got to say Taylor Swift, because then somebody might actually like Google.
That's literally what I'm going to do though. Every episode, I'm going to tag Taylor Swift and just see if our show viewership goes through the roof.
You're going to tag Taylor Swift?
Oh, come on. That's beneath this. Let's get that in post. That's beneath this show. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hi, welcome back to Query and Schultz, presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group. He's Jake Query. I'm Derek Schultz. Jake, hi. How are you?
That didn't make any sense if you take that out. That's a totally rough edit right there.
Did you tag it?
No, but I'm saying, like, the way that you did that, there'd be no.
It's gross.
You just should have picked up where we left off.
Chiefs win 25-22, overtime. Everybody watched. It's the most watched telecast ever. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. But Jake, I guess. Is there a main? I have a main takeaway from this.
Well, my main takeaway
that I feel strongly about.
Let me tell you what I'm confused by.
Okay.
And I think the players were confused by it. But at the end of the game, in the overtime, and it was listen, there's a lot that we're going to talk about with this, but in the end of the overtime, there were like 6 seconds left or 9 seconds left or whatever it was.
Why was there a clock at all, by the way?
And they kept saying,
have we talked about that?
They're like, this doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, why?
Why
have a clock?
They were going to go to the other end of the field.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me to have a clock. The clock is irrelevant, right? Unless I'm not understanding it correctly.
So, yeah, at the end of they were going to go to the other end of the field. That's
who cares?
Right?
Yeah,
who
cares?
So if they would have, if San Francisco would have gotten the stop there, it's over, regardless of the time.
Yes.
Regardless of the time, right?
Yes, because they both would have possessed the ball.
Right.
Yeah. I kind of like it. I kind of like the new rule. I'm flabbergasted that the Niners coaches
what's the new rule?
And players did not. Well, originally it was if you get the ball first, you drive down the field and score a touchdown, game over.
Right.
This new rule ensures that even if I score a touchdown on the first possession,
the other
team gets a chance to match that.
Right.
That's the change. But I'm shocked that the Niners didn't talk about with their players about that possibility because the Chiefs were fully prepared for that.
Derek, the reality is this. In the Super Bowl, and I've said this before, so I apologize for repeating myself, but here's the analogy I'm going to give. You've seen the movie Old School, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Will Ferrell is Frank the Tank.
Mm-hmm.
Will Ferrell goes to the party, and he's just kind of subdued Frank, right?
Not intending to get hammered.
Correct.
Yep.
And then one of the kids, they want him to do the beer bong.
Yep.
Finally, he decides to do the beer bong. And what happens? What's the famous line?
It's so good once it hits your lips.
Yeah. And then the floodgates open,
Yeah.
right? And Frank the Tank is on. That game with Patrick Mahomes, San Francisco was dealing with Bed Bath & Beyond and Home Depot, Frank the Tank.
Mm-hmm.
And then San Francisco, and it was a Clemson guy that did it, muffs the punt. Kansas City gets the ball back there in a short field. Mahomes gets a quick strike touchdown, and guess what? Once it hit his lips, and then it was over because it completely changed. It woke up Patrick Mahomes, and whether they want to admit it or not, San Francisco at that point was playing on their heels because you were terrified that Mahomes was going to be Mahomes now every time he touched the ball. And it changed defensively not only the way that San Francisco played, but it also, I think, changed the way Kansas City played because Kansas City late in the game felt like, look, so long as our guys got the ball last, we're fine. So they were just, I think they could be a little more aggressive defensively.
Yeah. And that's Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs. That's the way he's always been. He was that way with the Giants on their Super Bowl team in 2007. They went after it. I think the last play of overtime was basically, if I remember right, I think it was the last play of the Niners' position of overtime was a sellout blitz because he's like, this is the only way for us to stop you, so we're going after you, and it worked. I love that approach. I've never watched a game, I don't think, and I know there's some recency bias here. I can't think of a game that was so crappy for 35, 40 minutes that turned into such a great game in the same game. It was almost the tale of two games. But my firm takeaway, like I said, from this is that, and again, I'm trying to guard against knee-jerkness and recency bias. Jake, this is the most impressive championship run of any sport that I can remember in recent memory. The fact that the Chiefs went to Buffalo and beat the Bills in probably, if not the Bills' biggest game of the last 25 years,
right?
Certainly number 2, right, to the AFC Championship game a couple of years ago. They go to Baltimore and they beat a Ravens team who metrics-wise was considered one of the best teams of the last 10 years. And then they went and beat San Francisco, who all year was considered the best team in the league and one of the best teams of the last 10 years metrics-wise. I know you hate DVOA. This is the greatest DVOA championship run
I don't even know what that means.
Ever. That any team has ever had.
What does DVOA mean?
They had a lot of...
honestly, what does DVOA mean?
Defense adjusted value over average. They take every play, and there is an expectancy to the success level of that play. So let's say, I run a halfback draw on, 2nd and 2, and my expectancy is that is going to gain 3.5 yards. But I run that play, and instead it gains 1 yard. That knocks your DVOA.
Okay.
And they chart every play, play by play.
And this
defense and offense.
The expected number is based on what, averages?
They have some formula for that. Yeah.
Okay. But
see, I was hesitant to even bring it up. But Baltimore and San Francisco both had DVOA out the wazoo. Two like
so
really
what that means
great
to
teams.
me is that all the previous DVOAs were totally false.
No, it's predictive. It's not.
Eventually, a DVOA proved the formula to be correct. So, hooray!
No.
Greatest DVOA team ever. Every other team had nothing to do with the DVOA. We told you it was supposed to mean something, and it didn't, but this one did, so it's the greatest ever.
Jake, it's predictive. You can't say in sports you can't really do absolutes because random things happen. Like Justin Tucker occasionally misses field goals.
But apparently it's a predictive that sucks.
But I can be...
Because it was like, Baltimore had a terrible DVOA, but they won the AFC.
80% blah, 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 and there's still 20% of the time that's not going to happen. So, Hillary Clinton can have an 89% chance of winning the election, but there's still that 11%.
That was Russian interference, Derek.
See, now our YouTube metrics... Because now we're going to get, all that crowd as well. Hi, welcome. Hope you're not in jail right now for January 6th.
Let me just say this real quick in 10 seconds. And I know this is a social media thing, so I'm speaking to probably a small percentage of audience. And I probably shouldn't even mention it, whatever else. But I'm seeing now all of these whack jobs that are all into the numerology, that like the Super Bowl has all of these like cult meanings and QAnon and everything else. Just stop.
That it was scripted.
Just stop.
That it was scripted.
Just stop.
The funny thing
it's
is
beyond that, Derek. It's honestly, it's frighteningly beyond that.
Oh yeah, there are people that are in the tank for it. One.
I don't mean.
Luckily, I don't know anybody.
No. I'm talking about people that think that like satanic forces are trying to overthrow the United States.
No, I know.
Based on the meaning of the Super Bowl. It is so brainwashed whack job out there, and it's terrifying how many people believe this total crap.
There's that guy I think from North Central or something that is
a weigh-in.
Yeah.
Sends me the videos.
It's kind of
but it's
sad,
more and more
right?
but it used to be just like the crazy uncle.
Yeah.
And now it's like more and more
Like,
people and
I'm
you're
worried
like, oh my
about
gosh.
that.
Yeah. I mean it's crazy.
It's cuz
Taylor Swift is not a satanic force.
Cuz they're seemingly normal people and you're like, why would you believe? Okay. Let's not get off too far on the rails. But it's another reason why and I think I might have mentioned this after the win. Yeah, cuz we would have done the last show after the AFC Championship game, right? I'm thoroughly convinced, and I don't know how many championships he's going to end up with. I think it would be safe to assume over-under on Mahomes' championships left. 2.5, probably?
2 more, yeah.
Yeah. So even if he ends up with 5, I'm convinced, Jake, he's going to be the greatest ever. I mean, this first 6 years is insane what he's doing.
What's interesting is this. Patrick Mahomes is 28 years old. At the age of 28, he has now won more Super Bowls than at a younger age than Peyton Manning was when he went to his first.
Yeah.
Okay? The most quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, most quarterbacks that have won multiple Super Bowls, at some point they get to the point where financially, and it's a different era now to an extent, but at some point they started seeing turnover of supporting cast. Mahomes has had turnover of supporting cast essentially from the get-go with this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been different receivers and players each year that they have relied upon. And, you say to yourself, like, gosh, Tyreek Hill leaves and then they just plug in Pacheco and look at this guy go. Well, that's largely dependent upon and based upon the engine that's running the whole thing, right? I mean, it's very impressive. He clearly is the straw mixing the drink in the overall scheme. And assuming he stays healthy, yes, it would seem as though the cap, already he's in a huge cap area, and yet they've been able to offset that because he plays at such a high level. It's pretty special to watch.
What Brady has is the longevity. Brady was still one of the best 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the league at 41, 42 years old, right?
Right.
And that's going to be tough for anybody, even for Mahomes to achieve, but I've seen a lot of these graphs like Brady's first 6 years and Mahomes' first 6 years. They're not even comparable. Like Tom Brady, 2001 to 2006 was not even close to this level of player that Mahomes was immediately. You remember, like Mahomes' first 5 starts, he threw for like 350 and 4 touchdowns like every game.
Right.
And you're like, who is this guy?
Derek, he's the Steph Curry of football.
Yeah.
It's exactly what he is. Because he does stuff that you're just like, he can't keep doing that, right?
But he's going to, and Steph Curry's one of the 10 best players ever. Like Mahomes is going to be to the point where he's in the upper room.
Right.
He already is in the upper room, I think, for quarterbacks all time. I mean,
by the way,
right now, gun to your head, who is Mahomes? He's already better than Favre, right? Or some of these other guys?
I would say at this point, the only players that you would be able to rationally make the argument are better than Mahomes in their career would be Brady, Manning, and that's based on the MVPs, Montana, and the guy that I think actually gets lost in the argument and may, when all things are given equal, the guy that I think might be the greatest quarterback of all time. Do you know who I'm going to say? Who do I say with this?
I disagree, but it's Elway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just because numbers-wise he wasn't.
Well, but Elway was Mahomes before Mahomes. I mean, just in terms of his durability, ability to throw, improvise, throw across his body, create things with the run. He just didn't have he had like no cast at all. And then once he did, he started winning.
Elway was a gamer. I think he kind of lifted those Broncos teams past probably where they should have been, right? So I'll give him credit there. But yeah, the only 3, and this is because we just have a far greater sample size to go on, the only 3 that I would put in front of him right now, gun to my head, are Montana, Brady, Manning, in whatever order that you want to put them.
Right.
And I would consider Marino too, because I'm a big Marino backer. I think he. I know that he didn't win a Super Bowl and blah, 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 blah.
Mike Wood, by the way, of Bailey and Wood is a huge Marino backer, by the way. Bailey and Wood, BAWFG.com is the website. And, Derek, the telephone number for Bailey and Wood is?
855-350-HOME.
Thank you.
855-350-HOME, BAWFG.com. Let's quickly go winners and losers, and let's get past kind of Mahomes. Losers. Tell me if you agree with this. I don't think the Niners choked. I think they had it taken from them. I think there are some things that the Niners did in that game that I can critique.
Listen, I thought
any team.
I thought Brock Purdy played well.
I didn't think they choked.
I think, I would agree with that. I mean,
Purdy was fine,
but
he had the opportunity to do something to really elevate himself, and he was unable to do that. So I think it's a missed opportunity for Brock Purdy. That's how I would.
That's
explain
fair,
it.
but I think the narrative of like he's just a game manager.
No, he's a top 10 to 12 level quarterback.
Yeah,
he's
fair.
Not a top 3 level quarterback. Like he's not MVP.
I thought they underused. How about this? I thought they underused Christian McCaffrey. The guy's the NFL Offensive Player of the Year, and they went large chunks where he was not a factor.
But they lost that game because Kittle, Ayuk, Debo did nothing.
Yeah,
those guys, they didn't do anything. And credit Kansas City's defense is insane, but those guys didn't do anything.
Their defense played very well.
Yeah. Other winners?
Losers. You ready?
Yeah.
Here's a loser. People that said that Taylor Swift was going to sink the NFL ratings or there was an NFL fatigue and they were going to boycott.
Yeah.
It was the largest non-news related televised program in the history of the United States.
120 million.
124 million, right?
Yeah.
And
120 just on CBS, but counting streaming, 120.
Taylor Swift in the course of the game was shown for a total of 53 seconds. Yeah, there were a lot of cutaways, but it was a total of 53 seconds.
More than 200 million people watched at least at some point of that game.
That's a lot.
200 million.
How many people live in the country? 300 million?
I think it's up to like 4 now. I think it was like 365 or something.
Okay.
But I think we're getting up there now. Winner Vegas. Right?
Yeah.
Because I think
the
there was a lot
unbelievable.
I think there was a lot of apprehension about hosting an event like this, of the magnitude like this in Vegas, and I didn't hear of any incidents, did you?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it is interesting.
I'm not just talking public safety, I just mean in general.
It's interesting to me the way the narrative about Las Vegas has shifted. You know, it was Sin City for so long, and like it was like, oh, there's no way any league will go anywhere near Vegas because of the gambling aspects and everything else. The NBA is going to be there within, 10 years?
Yeah.
At the most?
And 10 years ago, this would have been unheard of that the NFL would even consider doing this.
I'm going to make the prediction that by the time that your son, for example, is a young adult, that Vegas will be a permanent rotation for the Super Bowl, for the NCAA Final Four, and the NBA All-Star Game.
Yeah. I think college will be the last of that, but yes, I agree. I think it'll be the last one.
We're getting there, right?
Yeah, we're definitely getting there. Other losers from the Super Bowl and I guess just the postseason in general, I just if you're Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or any other AFC
get to the NFC now.
I mean, you got to be thinking, what am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to do? As much as it was definitely Brady the most, but you also had Manning and you had Roethlisberger. There was people forget there was that period there from like 2008 to 2015 that the Patriots were down to their standards. They weren't winning the Super Bowl. They only went to, I think, 1 in that span, or maybe the Seattle one was 14. Because they beat the Colts in 14. All right, so 2008 to 2013. So you're talking about a 5 or 6 season span where, the Colts went, Manning went a couple times with the Broncos, the Steelers went, etc. I just don't even know if, Burrow I know he beat him in an AFC Championship game before, but it's going to be a tough slog, man, for those guys.
I mean, there's no doubt.
Real tough.
And that's Derek, when we talk about the Colts and what this Super Bowl means for the Colts, which we can do on the other side and get more into that, but quarterback play, clearly what it boils down to is you got to have a guy that has that it factor that that dictates everything that's going on in the field, even when they're not on the field. That's what Mahomes did.
Yep.
Could Richardson be that guy? We'll see. I mean, there are people that think that he can, certainly athletically. There's a command of the field and of what's going on that also comes into play. And the Colts have to hope that he has that it factor. There are those that believe he does, but we just don't know yet.
Yeah, I think the Colts are going to be really good next year. I really do. And this is before free agency and the draft and everything else. Like, I mean, I think this is going to be a 11-ish win team, probably even more. We'll see what the rest of the roster looks like.
I think they could be Buffalo of this year, right?
Because I'm confident in Richardson, but I don't know how you can be confident in anything with this Death Star looking quarterback and franchise that are looming over everything.
Death Star's bad, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's the bad guy in the sense that
why is he the bad guy? Because shouldn't he be the good guy and everybody else is the bad guy?
I don't know, and I'm sure
he's Luke Skywalker.
There
and
are some
else
people
is...
that are very sick of the Chiefs, right? And Mahomes.
Of course,
I don't hate him. I found myself actually rooting for them late in that game. Is that weird? I approached that game. Well, I have a buddy named Hoffbauer who's a Niners and UConn fan, and I don't want him to experience any joy. So I wasn't I didn't want his teams to win 2 titles in 10 months. But I was kind of like secretly polling for San Francisco because they've been knocking on the door for a while. They're a very likable group. I really like Kyle Shanahan. But by the end of that game, I was full bore. Like, I want Taylor Swift making out with Travis on the field. Like, I was into it. I was into the narrative. Yeah.
You were into watching them make out?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't. The 2 best moments of the Super Bowl, number 2, McCole Hardman catching the walk-off touchdown, a great moment, walk-off touchdown. Number 1, Smoochy Smooch on the field. Just a passionate Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. I was brought to tears. It was beautiful. Look at that.
What kind of pervert are you?
It's gorgeous. 2 beautiful, famous, talented people enjoying a moment, and it's like none of these other people exist.
Who's this guy?
He's a little close.
Why is this fellow wearing a Pirelli hat? Does he think he's in a Formula One race?
This guy's got a snapback from whatever, like Super Bowl, like the Broncos-Packers Super Bowl 30 years ago.
This guy here is the Eddie White of today.
Yeah, there he is.
Right?
There he is. In fact, he just got this picture autographed, and it's in his cigar den.
This guy is emailing local radio stations about how he was 5 feet away from Taylor Swift during the Super Bowl, right?
Can smell their breath. Both of them.
Okay. There's like 4 people that get that joke.
Hoagie and Hero of the Week. How about that? So I have a story here. I have an explanation. Let me ask you a question. Do you gas up Shannon's car? Or does she do that?
I have done that. Okay. Not often.
I gas up the cars. I have a Gas Buddy app. So I find out where the good rates are for gassing up the cars. I gas up the cars. My wife's light was on. So this morning, I thought we were on the same page here. She had to go to a conference today, like a nurse's, so she had to wake up early and go. I thought that we were taking each other's cars. So I warmed up both cars. I put my backpack. See, I've got my work laptop here. It's decked out in Purdue stuff. I put my backpack with my show laptop, the sandwiches and the beers in the back of her Nissan Rogue while I was warming it up because I was expecting to take the car. So she leaves probably 25 minutes before I leave, right? And she's got to go downtown. And I go, all right, I love you. Bye. Have a great day.
So what you're getting at is your wife right now is eating our sandwiches and somebody at her work's doing
She does. I don't think she even knows that they're in the car. I got to text her to let her know. And they're having lunch catered, but she'll probably ditch the catering for the sandwich. The sandwich that we had was the Zerns. And so she's got them in the back.
Which sandwich is the Zerns?
There is a Nissan Rogue near Methodist Hospital right now.
Which sandwich is the Zerns?
That has 2 delicious Sandos in it.
Okay. And the Zerns is which one?
The smoked ring bologna, the Munster cheese, LT, the beer grain mustard from Chili Water, which is really good. The beet pickled egg, which I know you don't usually like, but I like it on the sandwich. Yeah, so that was our, the Zerns was our.
Okay. This is twice in like 3 weeks.
Actually, you know what? I did this last time, and then the guys in there screenshotted it, and they're not all the way mature. JD's like 19 years old, so they made memes of that when I did that. When I forgot the sandwiches last time, I did the whole like fake the sandwich thing, and they put some naughty things in my hands that weren't sandwiches. So. Not going to do that again.
I would think that would have been a reason to, I don't know.
So I'm sorry. I'm still going to send this clip to Christina just as proof of performance, I guess. But yeah, I guess we didn't really perform. Sorry,
Christina. I'm sorry. Hoagies and Hops, I'm sorry. I mean, Darren King has become a loyal customer. Greg Pulley's become a loyal customer. We've sent people your way. People love it. We've gotten the word out about Zaire Franklin's fundraisers at your place. We've been good to you. You've been better to us, and you've been better to us than we have given back.
And Maddie
because
and
of
Donnie
somebody
and
else that can't figure out.
And Alexis, I'm sorry we let down Alexis too at Chili Water because the Brews were in there too.
Your hero of the week is not you.
Well, yeah, certainly not me. The Chiefs receivers, we kill them all year.
That's fair.
And I'm not just talking Super Bowl. MVS had the catch against Baltimore to clinch it. Hardman with the walk-off. But 15 catches, 170 yards for Hardman, Watson, MVS, and Rashee Rice. They outplayed.
And Rice became an interesting dynamic for them, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they used him in more ways.
They have the better quarterback, obviously, but they outplayed Ayuk and Debo.
They did.
Even if we're including Kelsey and Kittle did nothing in that game. You barely even noticed he was out there. And he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was the one that was the All-Pro, not Kelsey, right?
And he got hurt, too, I think.
Yeah, I think he got banged up as well. But good on the Chiefs receivers. I mean, they were supposedly the weak link, but when it came to push the chips in, they got it done.
Kelsey made the big play down the stretch for Kansas City. You're right. Their air attack was good. Pacheco's a great player, but when it came down to it, those guys made the plays necessary.
Stinky game for a while there, but it turned into kind of a classic. I mean, this was a memorable finish, the second overtime ever and the second walk-off ever in Super Bowl history.
More to get to on this edition of Query and Schultz, including what happened Saturday night in Mackey Arena in West Lafayette. We will get to that. That might happen to include another sponsor tie-in. One that we remembered.
Okay.
We'll get to that when we return here to Query and Schultz on the ISC Sports Network.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap! Duh!
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Do this thing! Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap! Duh!
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back. Bailey and Wood presents Query and Schultz here on the ISC Sports Network alongside Jake Query. I'm Derek Schultz. Also, while we're moving into the basketball topic, it is NBA All-Star Week.
It is.
In Indianapolis. So happy All-Star to you and yours. This is an event that I've been looking forward to for a long time. I think I've mentioned this on the show before, but I've always kind of been an NBA guy. That's my number one. Gun to my head. I love a lot of sports.
It's great.
But Stolman and I, who you met, we used to rotate staying over for the weekend at each other's houses every year for the NBA All-Star Game. And this is before the internet, which is hard to explain to like Vince and JD. We would take yellow legal pads and we would tabulate the scores and things like that, and then the box score for the Sunday night game. And thinking back on how antiquated that sounds now, I don't feel like I'm that old, but that's what we used to do for the NBA All-Star Game.
I bet chicks loved you guys.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, we were pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Derek, would you like to guess what tickets are currently going for if you would like to attend the All-Star Game?
I would guess that if you want to get in the door on Sunday night, you got to pay $1,200.
Sunday night?
Yeah. Well, the main event, the All-Star Game itself.
Okay.
$1,200. I might be off by several hundred.
I believe you probably are.
Is it more like $2K?
Are we just talking one ticket
in
or
the
two?
Building?
Two tickets?
One ticket in the building. I'm just a single guy. I'm Rolando Araujo at the Super Bowl, the Giants-Patriots Super Bowl.
Oh, this isn't bad. Here's one for $569.
That's not so bad.
No.
Yeah. Okay. That's not terrible.
Now, if you want to sit in the other than the upper level.
Oh yeah, if you want to sit in the lower bowl, it's well into the thousands, right?
$9,000. $9,000. Yep.
God, yeah.
$15,000. Section 5 is $15,000. What do you think? I don't think they sell them. What do you think Shannon's seats would go for?
Oh, $10,000. I bet, maybe more.
No, to sit Yeah, Section 4 is $11,000.
Yeah.
So those are in front of the
So we're
section.
talking 5 figures. Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, and look, we do this a lot on the show. You and I are very much on the same wavelength, I think, when it comes to like public money and stadiums and things.
Right.
I love Indianapolis. I love our reputation for hosting sports. I love the fact that the All-Star game is here. I bristle a little bit at economic impact and things like that. I think a lot of those numbers you can study and throw out whatever you want there. And I appreciate all the organizers doing everything that they can to get fans involved. The bottom line is that this is prohibitively expensive for people in Indianapolis to attend anything.
Correct.
Involving the All-Star game.
That's fair.
And I'm not just talking about the All-Star game. I'm talking Slam Dunk Saturday night is several $100 to get in the door. Or the 3-point contest. Or
even like the
Futures game.
And I know that they talk about like, hey, they're an opportunity for, like the crossover, at the convention. That's still like $25 or $30.
Yeah, but that's the level of participation you're going to get. Like if you actually want to, it's so corporate.
Right.
If you actually want to go to these games and events, they make it so it's for the people that are coming in on PJs and work for Ruffles. I mean, that's right. What it's about. And I get it. I understand it, but it is, I'm not going to lie, it's frustrating. It's too bad.
It is definitely a corporate event.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
It's too bad. And I've heard, Amp Harris, and I've heard, Rick Fusen and Pacer Sports and Entertainment, who's retiring. Congratulations on a great run for him. They've donated something like 2,500, 3,000 tickets, I think, for local groups. So there is a portion of people who deserve a chance to go to this who are going to go. But, it's I'm assuming in '85 when they had 40,000 at the Hoosier Dome, there was much more public access to this
I think
event.
that's right.
Right?
Now, do you know the MVP of that game?
Yes.
It is?
Ralph Sampson.
Ralph Sampson, who, by the way, shameless plug, if you're watching this on Tuesday night, will be with us on Query and Company on 93.5, 107.5 The Fan at 12:30 on Wednesday.
Awesome.
To relive that. The dunk contest champion that year, Derek, was?
Dominique won that one, right?
Correct.
Beat
Dominique
Jordan
Wilkins.
in the final.
That was the year Jordan was frozen out, right, of the All-Star game.
Oh, really?
That was the '85 All-Star game where allegedly the rift began, where Isaiah and the other guys froze him out. Yeah,
he's a rookie.
I believe 3-point shootout winner Greg Rakestraw will correct me if I'm wrong here. I believe it was Larry Bird in '85.
You sure?
Who else would it have been?
I feel like I would have heard about that if it was Bird. I'll look it up.
I'm trying to think of who else it would have been in '85. They had a 3-point shootout, right?
Let's look. The 3-point contest. Oh, they didn't have it. The first year was '86, and it was Bird. Bird won the first 3. 86, 87, 88. So the first year it was Dallas. I was going to Dale Ellis. Craig Hodges, man. There were some assassins back then.
Craig Hodges could shoot. That was baseline shooter. But at any rate, it is cool. The All-Star game here in Indianapolis, a bevy of activities, a celebrity game that features Connor Daly and then 14 people I've never heard of.
Big chance for Tyrese Halliburton, too, I think, to get some global exposure. The NBA is a much more global game. The NFL's getting there, but because of its influence in Asia, the NBA has a huge stage for Halliburton, for the Pacers, for Indy. Halliburton will be in the All-Star game, the 3-point contest, and the skills challenge. Matherin, Rising Stars skills challenge. Oscar Tshiebwe, Rising Stars, and then Miles Turner will be in the skills challenge as well.
Yeah, they've got a bright future as Indiana, no doubt about it. And this is a good showcase for them to show the future that they have. I don't think there's any doubt about that. There are a lot of great players in the NBA, young players, but that core right now that Indiana has, if Siakam does re-sign, when you have Halliburton, you have Siakam, you have the rise of Matherin, assuming that his trajectory goes in the right direction. And I heard the guys here talking about it, and I know that you probably take it with a grain of salt. He has a year left on his deal, Derek, but I don't rule out. I'm not saying that it would happen, but I do think that it is when Paul George talks about how he's nostalgic for Indiana. I actually think he's being legit there.
Yeah,
I think that storyline to him would mean something to come back here and be the final. He would be a great piece for them, an expensive one, but a great one.
Oh yeah, for sure, and he would fill a big role for them as well. He would provide exactly what he needs. A lot of people would have to swallow their pride to make that happen, but
him included.
Well, yeah, him included, but I think he's more willing to do that, especially given the checks that he would get to cash. Not that he wouldn't get to cash those checks elsewhere. Let's talk college hoops as well. It happened Saturday night, so it feels like it's already happened a long time ago, but really Not a particularly a close or competitive game. Not really a good game. I didn't even feel like Purdue played very well, and still won kind of going away. You know, what's great about the Purdue-Indiana rivalry is that in any given year, if those two teams played 100 times, it could be almost like a 51-49 split. You know, I think there are some years where one team is the better matchup. Like last year, Indiana was a bad matchup for Purdue. So if they played 100 times, Indiana probably wins 65, 70 of those. It's funny because they might play each other in the Big Ten tournament, but you tell me if you disagree, Jake. If Indiana and Purdue played 100 times this year, Purdue would win 100 times.
No, disagree.
I don't think that there is a path for Indiana to beat them. I just don't think that they're good enough.
Listen. Two things. Number one, after the game, Braden Smith, who is a very, very good player, and kudos and credit to Purdue, who didn't listen to rankings and didn't look at the ESPN 150 and the rivals, but rather went with their own two eyes and watched him play in high school when he became an Indiana Mr. Basketball and saw what people who actually go out and scout players saw, which was this guy can play. This guy's a competitor. This guy knows how to play the game of basketball. Kudos to Purdue for doing that, and the development of this guy, even though he was good last year, is really, really impressive. And he is an absolute on-the-floor leader that leads Purdue. But after the game when Braden Smith said, Derek, that he was stunned, I'm paraphrasing, but that the lane was wide open, and he said, and there was no defense of it. And so you take what the defense gives you, and there was no defense, so I just drove the lane and scored. Braden Smith basically is saying to Indiana, I don't know what they were doing. I have no idea what they were doing. You know why? Because Indiana doesn't look like they're coached. Indiana's like, well, here we got. You guys got Braden Smith and Zach Edey. They're not 5 stars. We have 5 stars. So we're just going to roll out. Look here. Here's our 5 stars and our 4-star. Malik Renu's a 4-star, and these two guys. Khalil Ware's a 5-star. So why are we even playing the game? Why are you bringing out your little 3-star Braden Smith and your little no-star Zach Edey and your little 4-star Fletcher Lawyer and your transfer from some smaller school? Why are you even bothering? Look who we have. And it is absolute Keystone Cops for Indiana. No direction, no heart, no desire, no game plan, nothing. The year's over with. They have zero camaraderie. They have zero chemistry. Malik Renu's a really good player, and I feel bad for him, quite frankly. Khalil Ware, to his credit, has really played well, right? Mackenzie Mbako, who cares, right? 5-star. Oh my gosh,
I think he's been pretty good.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, he gives you 10 or 12 a game. Sure, great, whatever. Right?
Indiana's problem is they have 3.5 good players. They have Ware, they have Mbako, they have Renu, and then some nights they have Galloway.
Here's the thing, Derek.
That's what they have.
Derek,
the roster, the bench stinks. Their guards stink.
This is the best way to say it. Okay. Honestly, I mean, flippancy and attitude aside, if you sat down any of Indiana's best players with a sheet of paper and a pen and said, I want you to write down what 3 of your teammates, give me the 3 things they do best and give me the 2 things that are areas of their game that we need to mask. Would they have any idea how to answer that? Do any of these people know the strengths and weaknesses of their teammate? Or are they all locked in on what they do? Does Khalil Ware know the strengths and weaknesses of Mackenzie Mbako? Does Mackenzie Mbako know the best operating areas on the floor of Xavier Johnson? Does Xavier Johnson know anything about Xavier Johnson? Does Indiana sit down and watch film and evaluate and assess one another and play with one another and learn to play as a team? Purdue, on the other hand, has guys like Caleb First that was a starter and a double-digit scorer that now comes off the bench in sparing moments to assist because he knows the strengths of the guys around him and what his role is for right now. Same with Trey Kaufman-Wren. Same with Mason Gillis, etc. We talked about it last week. I know you were gone, but I'm telling you, it is maddening Indiana's cluelessness and selfishness and their lack of direction. It is absolutely inexcusable for a school that prides itself on being a basketball school. And guess what, Indiana? Now you got Purdue, the number 2 team in the country, and the best story in college basketball is actually just west of them in Terre Haute, where the Indiana State Sycamores are now ranked for the first time in 45 years. They're beating everybody on their schedule. They've beaten everybody but 2 teams. They have 3 losses. They've already avenged one of them. And they do so by playing, wait for it, selfless basketball, understanding everybody's spot on the floor, knowing where people's strengths are, moving the ball around, playing with good discipline, and playing very well coached. Indiana State's a great story. They're fun to watch, and I say, let's go. That guy right there, Josh, who knows how long he's going to be there, right? But I'm telling you, Indiana State, you got to love it. You got to love what Indiana State's doing. Indiana State, Purdue, and then Butler's a good story as well.
Butler's better than IU.
Indiana is just sitting around.
Butler's better than them.
Indiana basketball is sitting around, and they are 2 kids on vacation in the back seat that are so busy reading the Rivals 150 rankings that they're not paying attention to the fact that the rest of traffic is passing them on both sides.
It's just frustrating. Like, I had a very low bar for IU. Like, I thought sneak into the tournament. That was kind of my bar for them, and they're going to fall. They're going to fall well short.
They're
going
to sneak into the Big Ten tournament.
Do you know what their best win is? Just based on the numbers, you know what their best win is?
Ohio State.
Yeah, at Ohio State. Ohio State stinks.
Who'd won they've lost 7 of 8, right?
They stink. I don't know if you watched
down 20
them.
to the Buckeyes, but
they're awful.
We kept their losing streak at 7.
Like, they're abysmal. And that's their best win. So that I guess that kind of shows you where they are. But yeah, and Purdue moves on. 2.5 game lead. 2.5 game lead for Purdue in the Big Ten.
Serenity now.
Minnesota at Ohio State, who we just talked about. They've got the return game against Rutgers. They're at Michigan, so kind of a soft stretch here. But Purdue finishes Michigan State at Illinois and then Wisconsin at home. So, but they might already have the Big Ten tied up by then. Because if they win these next 4, right, Jake, they're going to be at least probably 3.5 up on everybody else.
I mean, at this point, it would take a major collapse for Purdue to not be not only a number 1 seed, but the number 1 overall seed in the tournament.
Yeah.
Right?
And win the league again. I know people are like, oh, who cares? You won the league and you lost FDU. It's still important to me to win the Big Ten, and that's still a goal.
Here's the other thing, Derek, back to Purdue. This is the other thing that Purdue is doing right now that is overlooked. Zach Edey is still putting up huge numbers, but they're not Zach Edey numbers. Zach Edey's putting up a solid 20 to 22 a night and 10 or 12 boards, but he's not putting up every possession going through him 30-point per game nights. Yeah. He's had a few nights, for example, Wisconsin, where he has not been vintage Zach Edey, and yet they're winning games. A year ago, I think they were too reliant on Zach Edey.
Yeah, I agree.
And now they're learning to play without having to sit back and ball watch Zach Edey. And that is the thing that most people should be concerned about when it comes to Purdue. But speaking of Zach Edey, Derek, that does take us to our Love That Play. Brought to you, of course, by the good guys at Love Heating and Air each and every week. Love-HVAC.com is the website. 317-353-2141 is the telephone number for Love Heating and Air. Been around for over 100 years in central Indiana, Marion, and the Donut Counties. Older homes, a specialty for them, for example. Big older homes, they are going to make sure that your temperature is perfect all year round with 24-hour on-call maintenance from Love Heating and Air. They also bring each and every week our Love That Play, our favorite play from the weekend. Derek, it has to be, right?
I mean, you had a Super Bowl walk-off.
Understood.
You had Tyrese Halliburton throw an alley-oop to himself that was turned into an assist.
That was pretty impressive.
But you're going to say the Zach Edey three-pointer.
Come on.
Yeah.
Zach Edey with the arms up saying, you know what? Give me the 3, big fella. Everybody talks about Zach Edey. Can he shoot at the next level? I'm not saying that hitting a banked, basically 3 and a blowout win against Indiana is indicative of what you can do in the NBA, but I do think he has better range than he's given credit. And Zach Edey with the 3-point shot, first of his career at Purdue, and he now has hit more 3-pointers for the Boilermakers than Rick Mount.
I had that's a mean way to put it. I had a Purdue buddy that was there that said, and he's been to umpteen games. He said it was a top 5 Mackey moment. He said that's how loud it was when he went in.
I believe that.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, to see his teammates'
Mackey's
reaction was
right?
the coolest thing. I actually had the Halliburton alley-oop assist. It was 12 days to the fact that Kobe Bryant did the same thing, also at the Garden. I love historical quirks like that are completely random. But Halliburton does stuff that wows you all the time, and that was another one. But yeah, Edey, the Hardman play. There are so many options for this week. While we're on the hoops topic, before we get to quick hits, let's talk about our friends at the Horizon League.
Love it.
I'm excited about this because I missed it last week for their first week on the show. March starts right here, literally here, not on this desk, but in Midtown. Midtown is where March starts.
Midtown is in New York.
For the
Madison Square
Barbasol
Garden,
Horizon
Midtown.
League Basketball Championships.
Coliseum.
Right in Midtown.
There we go.
Indiana Farmers Coliseum, the southeastern edge of Midtown, March 11th and 12th, with NCAA tournament bids on the line in the men's and women's college basketball leagues. Visit horizonleague.com/Indy to learn how you can get involved and attend. You and I went. It was the last thing that I did. I'm not. Well, you actually flew down for IndyCar before they sent you back. The last sporting thing that I did before COVID was the Horizon League women's tournament.
Talked about that last week.
That was the last sporting thing that I did, and that would have been 2 days before all those shutdowns happened.
Yeah,
because that was like a Tuesday. I got snipped on Thursday. I think it was a Thursday that I got my.
That worked out well for you.
I had my Vestefrins burnt on
your what?
Thursday. It's the tube that carries the sperm from the testes to get ready to get loaded into the chamber, for lack of a better term. And we're all guys. We're guys. We're just talking guy stuff. This is men's health.
We're excited about the Horizon League tournament.
They singe that part so it can't carry it all the way. So it's just I believe it's seminal fluid. Is that what it is? It's not actual live.
Are we done?
Horizon League tournament, March 11th and 12th.
Derek.
Indiana Farmers Coliseum.
You know that we send air checks of this to the Horizon League, right?
I know, yeah, we should. But it's a guy show. We're talking about men's basketball, vasectomies. Like, these are all men's issues and topics.
All are welcome at the Horizon League tournament. The women's tournament is taking place there. It's a fabulous, perfect environment for the whole family.
I love
Take them out to the Coliseum, the history of the Coliseum.
Basketball's
be
great.
able to take the kids to see where the Pacers won ABA championships, but a team is going to punch their ticket for March Madness right there in the heart of our city, right in the just south of Meridian Kessler. I mean, it's perfect. It's a perfect family environment.
Yeah, no, agreed. You never got clipped, right? I know you never procreated, but you never actually went through the process, I don't think. I don't think Jake did.
What if I told you I took a Little League fastball?
/Indy. Oh, so you've never been viable. Is that what you're saying?
It's actually kind of a miracle, isn't it?
Quick hits. I know there's at least one or two somewhere that are running around that we don't know about. Yeah, let's come on, man. This is
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're being real here.
That's a little raunchy.
Oh, really?
For the show.
You want to watch Taylor Swift make out some more.
Let's keep it PG, okay?
Okay.
Like, this is
okay.
You're making me a little bit uncomfortable.
Mr. Snipped all of a sudden over there is letting us know what's actually
a little uncomfortable here.
Something to make it leave the chamber. I mean, come on.
Quick hits when we return and more, including a fundraiser that we want to tell you about that's near and dear to our hearts, and one of our great sponsors is Query & Schultz here on the ISC Sports Network.
Like they're still around.
At Bailey & Wood, we pride ourselves on our 5-star customer service. But at our core, we're a family. Family owned, and family to our customers, staff, and our community. From charity events to recognizing hometown heroes, we prioritize giving back to our communities that have always supported our growth. So let us help you get your dream home today.
Back to the show. Hi. Bailey & Wood presents Query & Schultz here on the ISC Sports Network. He's Jake. I'm Derek. Thanks so much for joining us. You guys know about our friends at Chateau Kitchens. Of course, they've been with us for a long time. They helped remodel several areas of my house, and they did so in a really great way. They do unbelievable work, but they're even better people to work with. ChateauKitchens.com, at Chateau Kitchens on Instagram and Facebook for before and after pictures. And you've probably heard us talk about their owner, Stephen Moore. Great guy, Ball State guy, chirp chirp, who runs the business. He tragically lost his fiancée, Mallory, to leukemia earlier in the fall, so this past fall, and it was a 18-month, 2-year battle for Mallory with leukemia. But he was nominated, Stephen was, as a candidate for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Visionaries of the Year campaign. So huge honor, right? And especially something very close to his heart. What it is it's a competition between 13 candidates, and they're doing a 10-week fundraising event that starts on March 7th, so right around the corner, a couple of weeks from now, less than a month. That's when donations can officially start, and the team that raises $50,000 will the society will name a research portfolio after Mallory.
Oh, wow.
Which is, a lasting legacy type thing to have your name attached to something like that. So
how do we help out?
Whoever raises the most money is the Visionary of the Year. The team is called Mal's Pals, and we have a QR code here that you can screenshot, and we'll leave that up and allow people to have the chance to do that, to join the team. As of this morning, there are 66 team members on Team Mal's Pals. The previous record for team count, by the way, was 37, so they're already getting after it. Listeners can join the team. All you have to do is click the Join Our Team on the QR code. It'll take you to the page. There's a picture there of Mallory. And, it'd be great, if anybody can go ahead and give what they can and rally, share the link, rally people to the cause. That's what we're going to try to do. We'll send some tweets about it and use our social media platforms to try to amplify it. And we'll keep talking about this. Every single week on the show, we'll put up the QR code and keep doing this, especially when it starts on March 7th, and get the word out about it. So great friends of ours at Chateau Kitchens, and Mallory was a wonderful person who's obviously worth remembering, and hopefully her legacy can continue through these efforts and potentially even the naming if Mal's Pals, Team Mal's Pals ends up victorious.
It'd be wonderful,
yeah, be very cool. Let's get to our quick hits. We'll get to Buy It or Bowl Bleep coming up later on in the show, as we always do. A couple of things to touch on here. Congrats to Dwight Freeney.
How about
this
that?
Is something that normally would lead the show, but we've had so much to talk about. 3rd year on the ballot, he got his Canton call. You know me, Jake. I hate saying that I was right, but I sent out a couple of tweets earlier in the year when the finalists happened. Because Reggie Wayne is so popular, I think people put Wayne ahead of Freeney. I don't think that's how the two are viewed nationally. And I think the voting bears that out, right?
Well, look, Freeney, all things given equal between Freeney and Wayne, and you could make the argument that Freeney as a defensive end was the equivalent of Wayne's contribution as a receiver.
Yeah.
But Freeney is, when I asked Dwight Freeney, spell your case, what he said, and I think it's a really good point, is there is a play in the NFL that is basically named for me. And that's true.
Did you change the sport? And he did in a way, right?
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Like little guys like you now have a chance to play defensive end and did not before Dwight Freeney.
Top 20 all-time in sacks, 125 and a half. It's not about height sometimes. It's about girth. And I feel for Reggie. Reggie's going to get in. I don't like the changing standard. If look, gun to my head, who was a better player, Andre Johnson or Reggie Wayne? I'd say Andre Johnson. But I don't like how sometimes you have to wait, sometimes you don't. Do you remember when, no offense to Andre Reed. Andre Reed got in before Marvin Harrison, and you're like, are you serious? Like, Marvin Harrison was several magnitudes the player that Andre Reed was.
Right.
So is it a waiting line or is it not? That's my problem. But I think it's justifiable to put Johnson in first, but generally speaking, wide receiver has been a waiting line, and Reggie was waiting longer, so thought he should have gone. You had mentioned Indiana State, first time since 1979 for the Trees, ranked 23 in the AP, 24 in the coaches. They actually survived a close scrape against Missouri State. They almost got beat last week.
They got a tough one against Southern Illinois on the road.
They do, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But the Sycamores red hot. They've won 9 straight and could win that league. Have you paid attention to the Mike Epps, Shannon Sharp?
Yeah, they're squabbling, right?
I don't know. Apparently, Epps insinuated that Sharp was gay in one of his stand-up routines or something. I think that's where this all stems from. And Sharp bucked against that and then didn't mention Epps by name, but said, you tried to get on the show, which Epps said I did try to do. And then they said they were going to fight each other because they're both going to be at the All-Star game. And then Mike Epps says, I'm too skinny to fight. You know, people like me, when you can't fight, what do you do? And is that insinuation of something else? I think these guys are laughing it up via text message right now. That's exactly what I think is happening. And I think they both know what's going on. Shannon's going to be here doing the All-Star Celebrity Game, right? Mike's going to be here because he's one of, if not the most prominent, at least current, non-sports figure in Indianapolis. I got a feeling they're yucking it up behind the scenes about
That's
this.
probably right. A little bit of a PR stunt.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what I think. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it's real.
Shannon Sharp seems to have a lot of controversies.
Yeah, I mean, when you're a loudmouth, that's what happens. But good for him. I mean, he's made a great second act to his career. He was a phenomenal football player, too. I mean, he's one of the great tight ends of all time.
Right.
And he was always a great personality. The whole
By the way,
remember him and Ray Buchanan Super Bowl week like 25 years ago, where I think Ray Buchanan called him Mr. Ed.
Well, and then he also remember he was defending Ray Lewis, and there's been a lot of
There's some of that too. I'm not saying that I'm a big Shannon fan. I'm just saying that he's always kind of been in the limelight.
I'm a huge Shannon fan.
Well, yeah, I'm a Shannon Walsh fan. There are Shannons that I enjoy in my life. Really? Shannon Sharp, not so much. Jags report, you want to do it?
I love it.
Bum, 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 bum. IUPUI. Oh, you can't even see this. Hold on. Dun, 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 dun. IUPUI. Dun, 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 dun. Senior Andrew Whittinger, congratulations to him. He continues his onslaught of the IUPUI men's track and field record book. Set the program 5K record at BU in their invitational. Do you know what BU is?
Boston?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Maybe that's my Northeast
Bradley,
talking.
Baylor.
Like I had a bunch of friends that went to BU.
BU, I think, is pretty clearly Boston University.
And UB's Buffalo, right?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if there was anybody else. Or Bridgeport. University of Bridgeport was another one. Jags also had 3 PRs set at the event to cap off the Boston trip. Men's hoops lost at home Saturday to Purdue Fort Wayne, who they actually beat on the road on senior day. Jags recognized 7 seniors in the loss. They spend the week in Michigan, Detroit Mercy Wednesday, Oakland Saturday. Women's hoops, as you're seeing right now, had a tough Wisconsin road trip. They fell to both Milwaukee and Green Bay. They're also on the road Wednesday night at NKU, but they return home Sunday to host Robert Morris at 2 p.m. inside the Jungle. First 100 fans at the women's hoops game get IUPUI Cape flags.
That's cool.
Softball. God, are we already at softball? That makes me warm and sunny and cheery inside.
Yeah, let's go.
They opened the season at Mississippi State in a tournament. They went 1-3. Taking on UAB and MSU twice. Jags' lone win was their first game. They beat the Blazers 2-1. Kinsey Pfeiffer knocked in a late home run for the W there. Softball on the road this week in South Carolina, so staying in the South for a tournament. You can't play February tournaments in Indianapolis, unfortunately.
Okay.
Too cold. Women's tennis swept Rose-Hulman this weekend, 2 6-1 wins. They'll host Lindenwood, doubleheader with men's tennis. Also play Colorado at home on Sunday. Men's tennis host Ball State Friday. And then the Lindenwood doubleheader, all matches this week, West Indy Racket Club. And finally, there's a lot going on at IUPUI Athletics this week. Premier event, Jags hosting Horizon League Swimming and Diving Championships starting Wednesday through Saturday at the Nat. 7 sessions in total. Tickets only available on site. So IUPUIJags.com/tickets for hoops, everything else. Only available on site at the Natatorium for the swimming event Wednesday night through Saturday evening. Lots of sessions, lots of swimming and diving to enjoy at a world-class facility.
Gotcha.
We'll come back. Chateau Kitchen's Bite or Bowl Bleep as we wrap up the show next here on Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
IUPUI basketball is back. Come witness history with head coach Matt Crenshaw inside Indiana Farmers Coliseum and head coach Kate Bruce inside the Jungle as they usher in a new era of Jaguars athletics. Be there for exciting Horizon League and in-state matchups. Affordable fun for the whole family. Full season tickets are now on sale starting as low as $80. Order today at IUPUIJags.com/tickets or call 317-278-2530. Work hard, make noise, have fun. Go Jags.
At Bailey & Wood, we pride ourselves on our 5-star customer service. But at our core, we're a family. Family owned, and family to our customers, staff, and our community. From charity events to recognizing hometown heroes, we prioritize giving back to our communities that have always supported our growth. So let us help you get your dream home today.
Welcome back. Final time. Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network, presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group. Let's get back to our friends at Chateau Kitchens and Buy It or Bowl Bleep. ChateauKitchens.com, at Chateau Kitchens on Instagram and Facebook for before and after pictures and Of course, we got the Mallory fundraiser going on, which will stay on for the next couple
Hang on,
of
Derek.
weeks.
I'm supposed to do a Zoom call here. As you were.
We're taping the show.
No, I know, but I told you ahead of time, and you kept dillying around.
Yeah, we have like 2.5 minutes left on the show.
Well, I told you a specific time, so I said, like, I got duty calls, buddy.
Okay. I give a statement. Jake and I go back and forth where we buy or bowl bleep. I don't even know Jake's going to participate. Statement 1, Andy Reid will rival Bill Belichick as the greatest NFL coach ever. Buy or bowl bleep.
No, rival, I'll buy that, but he's not going to.
Aren't we kind of surprised that this conversation isn't happening?
I mean,
should it happen?
It's pretty amazing when you consider what he
Right?
did in Philly also, right?
Yeah.
But
That's why this whole thing about labels.
they have one thing in common, and that is that without elite-level quarterbacks, they were very good coaches as opposed to elite.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the whole big game thing, this is why I always buck against, well, he can't win the big one. Well, Andy Reid couldn't win the big one until he did, and then he won it again, and then he won it again.
What's this say? It says, host has joined. We've let them know you're here.
Yeah, so they'll let you in. You're in the waiting room right now. I really don't want to be doing this while we're taping the show, but yeah, I'll buy it. I think there's a chance that Andy Reid passes him. It would take a lot, but I think there's a chance. I think it's unfortunate that some people have diminished Belichick because I think he had just as much to do with that as Brady
looks like
did.
I'm connecting in here, Dave.
Statement 2, Jake. Butler will be in the NCAA tournament. Buy it or bowl bleep.
Butler is absolutely in, yes.
Yeah, I think so too. Got a good resume. They've got 2 great road wins, Marquette and Creighton.
Buy it or bullshit, I got to go do this.
And then they play both of each other at home.
Buy it.
Can you at least do the last one?
What is it?
Statement 3. You got to talk into the mic.
What is it?
Valentine's Day is the most overrated day of the year. Buy it or bowl bleep.
100% buy it. Yeah, it's a total joke.
I love Valentine's Day.
I'm sure you do.
I love to
How
know.
did it work out with Katie Collette?
I love to know how much I'm loved. Are you really? We have a minute left. Thanks to our great sponsors on the show, Chateau Kitchens and Bailey and Wood Financial Group, Chili Water Brewing, Hoagies and Hops. I can't believe he left. The Horizon League, Love Heating and Cooling. Who else am I missing? Anybody? Did I get everybody? Should I thank Jake on the show? Do I even thank him for being here? Okay, I'm good, right? Vince, Rake, JD. I'm Derek. Bye. See you next time on Query and Schultz. High five, buddy.
IUPUI basketball is back. Come witness history with head coach Matt Crenshaw inside Indiana Farmers Coliseum and head coach Kate Bruce inside the Jungle as they usher in a new era of Jaguars athletics. Be there for exciting Horizon League and in-state matchups. Affordable fun for the whole family. Full season tickets are now on sale starting as low as $80. Order today at IUPUIJags.com/tickets or call 317-278-2530. Work hard, make noise, have fun.